Hello again, Stefan Bankowski. It's part 2 of my guitar tutorial, how to sound better at guitar than you actually are. Having easy ways to play interesting chords that sound good, and I think are actually easier to play than the chords that they'll teach you. I'm doing this for the Music Student Therapy Organization at Arizona State University, but of course anybody can use this. It's part of my presentation on pop music and its effectiveness with drones and a lot of boring technical stuff like that. But anyways, last one I did was on the key of C. Part 2 is the key of G. Just like C, I think there's 2 good ways to play in the key of G that are easy and sound good. The first is just having the root as the drone. So there are 2 ways to get the G as the drone, and you kind of use it simultaneously. The top string with your pinky is a G, and having the open string as the G is also a drone, and that'll come into use in one of the chords as well. So again, if the people that I'm actually doing this for, you already know G. For this one, the first one that I'm showing you, play it just how we played it in C. So have your ring finger on the low E string, middle finger, 2nd fret, pinky on top. Some people tell you to go like that and have middle and index finger, and that will do in the second half. But for this one, use this positioning, mostly because it'll be easier to go to the C. So we got G, and this time I'll add we'll do 5 chords. We'll do the 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. I didn't do 2 in the other one, but I think it's pretty easy in this one to do. So here's the 1, G, very easy. 2 is A, and it's going to be just like the A minor we did in C. The switch is a little bit more difficult than some of the other ones, but basically in this position your index finger should already kind of be hovering over the C position here. So it should naturally just go right here, and then the A minor is just like that. Open 2, open 1, 3. And then going to the 4 should be really easy because you're already right there for the C. And here's where I think is the key chord to know. The key chord to know, it's hard to point at this camera, key chord to know when playing in G is the D chord. And all you have to do is slide the C shape, so you're keeping the same exact shape and just sliding it over 2 frets. So what that does is, notice when you're playing C, the G is open here. You have nothing on the G string. So as you slide it up to the G string stays open, but you're playing a D chord with it, giving it the add 4 effect. And I love the add 4 effect, I mean, obviously. So it should sound like this. So you're playing C, and then you slide up to the D. Isn't that kind of pretty, I think. And again, it creates more dissonance, and so as you're coming to the end of a musical phrase, to kind of sit on that D and sit on that dissonance will create a bigger release when you go back to G. And then the 6 in G is E minor, and so that'll be just like the E minor you already know, but having the 3 on top, having the 3rd there. So that should be simple, because all you do is everything stays in place from G, and you just move your middle finger over to 2nd fret on the D string. And there are your 5 chords. You can also, when you go to the C and the A minor and the D, or even the E minor. You can actually leave the E string open at that point. It's not really recommended for the 1, for the G, to leave the E open, just because the 1 needs to have the most stable sound to it. So as soon as you add color, it's kind of it's a little bit wavering. So, but all the other chords, you can keep the E open and it'll sound good. So, you know, A minor, it's just the 5th, C, it's the 3rd, E minor, it's the root, and this will actually give the D chord that I love so much even more color and more tension because you're adding the 9th to it. So, not only do you have the add 4 there, root 3rd, 4th, 5th, or no, that's the root, sorry. Root, 3rd, 4th, root, 9th. So you have that dissonance as well as that dissonance. So just playing it by itself, it doesn't sound good, but in the context of everything, it sounds really good. So using the same progression that we did in C, you just go... So the other way, sorry it kind of took a little while on that one. I just love that chord so much, I can't help it. So the other way, I like to call this the Wonderwall shape, is to keep both the root and the 5th as a drone on the top. This one's really, really, really popular in music, and if you watch American Idol, when they're playing acoustic guitar, about 3/4 of the time they're playing these chords, and they sound pretty good, and they're really easy. So I call it the Wonderwall shape because if you've ever heard the song Wonderwall by Oasis, this is exactly how they play it with these chords. So you got your 1, just like that. C, going to the 4 is really easy. All you do is move that same shape up to the C. So keeping the 5th there gives you the 9 in the 4 chord. And that, to me, sounds better then. So anyways, you got the 1 going to the 4. And then the 5, I like to use, well, in Wonderwall, what they do is they keep that drone and they add on the A there, so 2nd fret on G string, then they have open, open. And so it's not quite an add 4 because you don't have the F sharp in there anywhere, but it's a suspension of sus4. So and then E minor is the same thing. The regular shape with the drones on top, and that gives it the 7th, so it's 6/7, and A minor is the same as your regular A minor, just like that, but you're keeping the drone on top. So not only do you have the 7, but you also have the 4 on there. So this is how Wonderwall goes, and it's just using those chords with the drones on top. So you got 6, 1, 5, 2, and you can do the same thing, but add a C in there, add a 4, and if you want to get really crazy, and I like to do this too, do the same slide up thing that you did before in the last G, and slide that up. So again, you got the add 4 dissonance there, and you got the 9 with the E there, and the 5th on top. So So just some things to kind of mess around with and work on. And thank you. That's the key of G. Pop music presentation. And ASU MTSO. Got one more to go.